All right. This is WatersAbove, reporting live from an undisclosed location outside of the firmament. And we're going to be live streaming the apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen. Are you guys prepared? Are you prepared for another day in the Matrix? Where millions of people were culled into thinking something would happen. Nothing did. Then you went to sleep and woke up. We've been through this so many times. Anyways, jokes aside, I hope you're all having a beautiful Saturn day in the Matrix. Here we are, hanging out again, enjoying life. And life is a feeling state. It has nothing to do with time. Life has nothing to do with yesterday or tomorrow. It is simply just here. And that's always been the focus of this channel. To just be here. And to realize that we squander a lot of the experiences here because we worry about tomorrow. The day that never comes. And once it does, you're disappointed. But of course, the people that have been hanging out with us here probably didn't fall for that. Again, just having a little fun. Starting off today's live. Trying to be playful, not take things so seriously. But also, on a more serious note, it's important to kick this off today with gratitude. Be grateful to be here. Be grateful to be breathing the air of today. Instead of holding your breath for some timeline or some imaginary end in anticipation. How much prana is given away free of charge to an elite bloodline family simply because of anticipation of a day? Now you see how the psyops work. So today is probably one of the most effective prana harvesting rituals to the so-called truther community. Let's hope some of them were able to mine more consciousness today by living through today. Again, I will say that again. Hopefully, they are able to mine more consciousness today by experiencing today. Again, it's just another day in the Matrix. We're in a simulation. For you, it could be like a theme park. But for most, it feels like a form of enslavement, even for those that are so-called enlightened beings. Waking up every day thinking that we're in some sort of soul trap. It's a self-designed misery. No one need experience, but people choose to after they learned about something. It's really interesting. How many people have taken this idea of wisdom and corrupted it? So if you're really here to experience wisdom, it requires you to be fearless. It requires you to not have any worry. And also to remind yourself that you're protected. Have no doubt of that. There is no such thing as an apocalypse until you create it. The mind of man created the apocalypse, the same way the mind of man created heaven and hell. Heaven and hell are just mental states. Again, a trap within a trap within a trap. It's the Russian doll of psyops. And all of it has everything to do with keeping you distracted and out of this present moment. So welcome. We got 500 people with us. We'll be breaking records today. Get this to 1,000. If you're new here, welcome to the sauna. It's going to be sweaty. The temperatures are going to rise. It's going to get uncomfortable. But the process of expanding consciously is uncomfortable. It requires some pain. And on the other side of that pain, there's the glory of life. The sauna detoxes you. We're here in a detox session as a community, as a family. And I'm grateful for every single one of you being here. I'm actually reflecting now back to a year ago. Right around this time was the end of a cycle that comes around every 7 years. We talked about it a lot on this channel. We don't need to get into that, but anyone that's been following along since last September knows. And what made us stand out amongst a lot of other communities, the ones that focus on crypto particularly, but of course in the conscious space and I don't call myself a truther, but I know I get, pulled into that term sometimes, even though I don't want to be. Even from the people that are so-called doing predictions, which I don't want to be part of that either. I don't want to be the predictions guy. But back September a year ago, it was beautiful to see what we were doing amongst the rest of the collective, even those that are in what I just called the truther community. We had this fearlessness about us. We were relinquished of worry. And we got to have a beautiful time this entire year. I can't even begin to explain or count how many people have reached out to me over the past year, specifically the last 6 months, that have been talking about what it's been like to be here with us in the Wolfpack, those that have went through my expansion mastermind course. And just hearing the breakthroughs. All while so many people were under this false belief that shit was going to get worse or bad. And I reminded you every week, heaven and hell is a mental state that happens at an individual level. Let it become hell for them while you live in heaven. Remember I told you that. Here we're not playing the game of extremes. We're staying neutral. And I think what really sets us apart is we're ready to embrace the pain. We're ready to embrace the darkness. We're ready to embrace the chaos. As you're watching here in these visuals, this lava that flows, this chaos that's happening, it recreates a purer landscape. I'm going to be just saying hi to some people, then we'll get into some questions. Again, I appreciate every single one of you for hanging out here with us on this lovely Saturn day, September 23rd. HK99 Crypto Wolf says, I've been watching the Crypto Mastermind Course. It's amazing, but kind of stressful and excited watching Jordan go over 15K Bitcoin. Yeah, I get it, Crypto Wolf. It's a lot to take in, but I believe I do my best at designing these beginner level educational materials. And once you get through maybe about 20 to 25% of that course, you will be far ahead of many regarding investment thesis and overall crypto understanding. Trust me on this. Once you get about a third of the way through, you're going to have an incredibly solid base foundation to be able to make life-changing decisions that will lead to generational wealth. So keep working hard, keep taking notes. I know this 2024 year is going to be abundant for you. But as for 15K Bitcoin or any of these arbitrary price targets, we're not really going to be getting too much into that today because, again, we are here doing this live stream to have a pause from talking about that type of stuff. We're here to take a break from it, which is important for balance. Of course, here and there we'll address some things as needed, as necessary, but for the most part, we want to use a day a week to contemplate things outside of the realms of finance. You know, finance gets to be a very acidic conversation. It's only possible of staying more neutral to slightly alkaline if you have the ability to just be emotionless in it. Seriously. Remember, we talked about this a lot, how money is thoughts. Money is thoughts, and thoughts could be toxic, or thoughts can be philosophical. The philosophy is the one who is curious. So if you're able to curiously listen to content about finances, or you're able to curiously speak about finances, it will make it naturally more neutral for you. It'll make it slightly alkaline. And there is where you'll thrive. But for most people, speaking about finances or consuming stuff about finances is acidic to them. It's always stressful. It has anxiety tied to it, limiting beliefs, self-doubt, questioning themselves, thinking that they can't or will not, or any of these words, these terms of lack. Always comparing and contrasting, being on the scales. This isn't where it's at. So when we talk about things regarding finances here on these live streams, we try to go deeper into the philosophy of it all. So that way you walk away with something that basically just builds a better infrastructure to everything else that you're already aware of. It allows you to smoothly transition from one thing you've already learned to the next thing you've already learned, but in the ability to resonate with it, not believe in it. This way you could replace that belief to self and not give it away, which is a big piece of our core philosophy over here. Kevin Connolly says 66.6 subs. Isn't that ironic that happened today? Or it happened yesterday or something? I don't remember. It's really hilarious. Again, we've talked about this number 666 a lot here because it's necessary. We need to as decoders, which I feel is way more interesting to talk about than things like crypto. But anywho. And the reason I say that is because when I became a decoder, it made me an elite level regarding finance and being able to, see the world for what it really is regarding the economy and find it. Like, it makes you an elite. I know a lot of people hate that term. That's why I love Logan's term for this, the apex predator. I love that term. I started using it more. Also, shout out to Decode Your Reality. I'm not sure if he's with us right now, but if he's tuning in, I love how he uses that term and doesn't call them elites. You're the elite. For real. I don't really like that term too much, as you can tell. But it's true. When I started to learn decoding and practicing it, it changed my life. It changed my whole way of perceiving everything. And that made me a lot more abundant in finances and in business and in relationships and in my ability to interact with other people in a harmonious way, in a collaborative way, rather than being in a sword fight with everyone and the world and my future. Again, talking about time. Decoding made me more present and less worried about the past or the future. I started to see the past and the future as something that is just giving me little bits of evidence of something that's always been happening around us, and we just didn't realize it. The ripple effect of time, the illusion of time. But getting back to this, we talked about that number quite a bit, that 666 number. Looks like we have almost 666 in the chat too, which is hilarious. But that's the number tied to carbon. It's the number tied to this realm. You have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. That's carbon. We have carbon-based life. It's necessary for life. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. 18's a very important number in Judaism. This is a very important time frame in the calendar for Judaism. They just got through Rosh Hashanah, moving from Elul to Tishri. And now we're about to have Yom Kippur on Monday, the Day of Atonement. And these days have been coded heavily into finance. And anyone who's been following along my work here, you know that all of the theories that people had in these alternative communities tied to September regarding some event, I kept reminding people that where I stand on all of this, that if there's gonna be an event, it will purely be just financial. I didn't feel like we would have some grid down scenario where there'd be a 3-day blackout and all of that. Again, I honor the people that were creative in their decoding process to get to those conclusions, but for me, it was simply just tied to finance. Why? Because in Judaism, they just got through their Jubilee year, biblical Jubilee. We are out of that now. That's all I was worried about. So here we are. We're effectively out of it. The same week that we finished off Rosh Hashanah, we had the FOMC meeting. We saw how that went regarding the markets. I'm just going to get this out of the way now so we can move on to other bigger, better things. But tying back Judaism and the Hebrew calendar into all of this is crucial. And this number 666 and how it's been tied to the quote-unquote mark of the beast in a very exoteric fashion. And by the way, we say this often. Everything that's popular is wrong. So when they say that the number 666 is the number of the beast and it's tied to negativity, what do as a wolf? You flip it. You never let the spells they cast spellcast you. Don't let them do that shit. You're bigger and better than that. Everything that's popular is wrong. This whole idea that 666 mark of the beast is negative, it's literally a flex. Because all it is carbon. It's like saying that life is evil. Now, we talked about this last week. Life is love. Love, spelled backwards, is evil. Okay? Don't look at the code beneath it. Just look at what we're typing out up here. Love backwards is evil. Evolution. These are word spells. Now, why is this important? Because it shows you the energy of what we spell out, what we speak out. Remember, they said, God said, let there be light. Light is love, is life. But in order to have love, you need to have evil. You need to have darkness in order to have light. Darkness is the palette of the light. When I turn off this computer screen that I'm looking at, and when you turn off your computer screen that you're looking at, it will have a black background. When you look up at the night sky, it will be black. And light shines through that. It's duality. The duality is necessary for you to study and understand in order for you to expand. The duality is not something you stay in either side of. It's that you honor the polarities as needing each other. Then you transcend and you head towards unity consciousness. So, the theme of today is going to be mostly talking about fear. It's going to be talking about what's going on here in this realm and why we need to have an apocalypse. Why the mind of man needs an apocalypse. One of my favorite quotes, I don't remember it verbatim, so excuse me, but it's essentially deep down inside the heart of man is this yearning for the world to end. I think that's really interesting because it's so true. It's so true. So finishing off on this 666 thing, 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. 18 is a very important number in Judaism. They give gifts in 18s, donations, etc. And then practicing numerology, 18 gets reduced down to 9. And 9 is the number of this simulacrum, of this matrix. 9 is the number of the ego because it always comes back to itself. You've heard of 369, right? It's always given, all the prana goes to Tesla. But that's a psyop. This stuff is here long before this imaginary player character. Maybe that's too spicy for right now. And you got to warm up a little more before we get into this stuff. I got a super chat from Hail Metallica. I appreciate your support. It means a lot. You said, thank you, Jordan, for everything. Just sending high vibes for this live. Me and my 6-year-old and my fiance are just vibing out, relaxing. Sending love to you and your family. Appreciate you guys. And enjoy your weekend. You know, it's great to have you here. Enjoy your weekend. I'm really grateful for that you're tuning in with the family. Blows me away when I hear people say that they're watching with other people and others are resonating. It's beautiful. It shows me how powerful it is to speak your truth. It shows me how powerful it is to be vulnerable. Because what's even more important than truth is vulnerability. It's being able to discuss things that normally you'd feel uncomfortable talking about. And that's what we're about here. Wraith Babes, I appreciate your super chat. You said, any advice on the pain? Okay. Now, I'm not entirely sure what you're referencing. If it has to do with your monthly cycle and you're feeling pain because of that, or if it has to deal with an injury that you've recently had, or again, I'm not really sure. You didn't really give me too much to work with here in your question. But typically any pain that's happening in the body, excess inflammation that you're dealing with, that the body is having a difficulty recovering from, it has to deal with the way that you're consuming. It has to deal with how you're treating yourself. So you need to get more alkaline for sure, but more hydrated. Absolutely. That will help with recovery. Pascal says, namaste, brother and family, learning a lot from you. I appreciate your super chat, and that means a lot. And I want to just say something. You're not learning anything from me. I'm just here to remind you. We're all just helping each other remind each other. Radio Ear says Archaics talks about the apocalypse being in 2040. Yeah. Shout out to Archaics. Me and him have communicated quite a bit in the past. I've been trying to reconnect with him. It's been difficult. Me, him, and Logan over at Decode Your Reality had an incredible conversation. Regarding my usage of the apocalypse title and all of that, had nothing to do with him per se. It was a common theme of the last couple weeks of people passing around a video that was showing September 23rd to be an apocalyptic date. Exoteric at this point. And I've been asked this over and over and over and over again for the last 2 to 3 months, and I kept replying back with the same thing. The world never ends. Humans just want it to. I will say that again. The world never ends. Humans just want it to. Human beings hate this life so much that they spend more energy on it ending than they do on living it. All the misery that exists is because somebody doesn't even want to be here, present. They think of life like it's a trap, or it's an enslavement, or it's this, that, something dark, something problematic. See, the wolf is not here to dwell in problems. We are here to live. We are here to have solutions. We are aware that the collective dwells in problems. We're very cautious of how we interact with all of them, because protecting our prana, which is the most valuable asset you have, is a necessity in the world and in this environment that we're in today. And the September 23rd apocalypse, I mean, honestly, guys, yesterday, Twitter, or X, the rapture was trending on X. The fucking rapture was trending yesterday on a social media platform. Like, come on, bro. And also, like, I'll say my piece on the 2040 thing. I'm treating it the same way. Why let 2040 concern me? Why let any idea of the so-called end of the world concern me? None of this affects me. I don't let it infiltrate my reality tunnel. The throne you sit on is not based in time. It's based in integrity and honor. Remember that. Kevin, sending you a lot of love, brother. I hope you and your family are doing incredible. I really appreciate you. And keep in touch in the future if you want to reconnect again. Since our last call, I hope that things have been going well. Sending you a lot of love, man. We got about 890 people. Appreciate every single one of you for hanging out here with us. Jax says, hi, Jordan. Started intermittent fasting after listening to you for a while, dropped 40 pounds and feel great. Purchased the Crypto Mastermind course and it helped me dial in my investments. Wow. That's beautiful. Congratulations on that progress. And it means the world to me to be a part of your journey. I mean, I really think that if you haven't gone through the Expansion Mastermind course, that will be a game changer for you. Because now that you lost that 40 pounds, you want to maintenance that, and you want to do it in a healthy way. I mean, again, just implementing intermittent fasting and being able to make that change is amazing. That's really incredible. But maintaining this new lifestyle is the hard part. We say this often in finances. It's easy to make money. It's difficult to keep it. Most of the people that make a ton of money give it all back to the government. They give it all back to the IRS, which isn't even government, but you know what I'm saying. They're all in cahoots with each other. It's a private organization that operates out of Puerto Rico. It's a fucking scam. But hey, we believe in it, so it continues to parasite us. But with that being said, beautiful that you lost that weight and have moved into a new life. Because that's a significant loss. So I bet you feel so much lighter now, probably have a lot more ability to keep up with cardio, could probably do better on hikes, Or if you have kids, it's probably a lot easier to, spend time with them, be at their energy levels for a lot longer than usual. It's like giving life back to somebody, right? It's really beautiful. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that you shared your experience. It means a lot. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I enjoyed this volcano at the beginning more. These visuals are dope. Tony, that is correct. Monday is Yom Kippur. Dr. Jen says, can you explain the code, how it ignited in the stars and how we see it here on Earth, how we begin to see what is going to happen next via the code and the nature of it? Everything is operating as an ebb and flow. Everything is inhalation, exhalation. It is in and out, yin yang. But it's not just about the yin yang. It's about the circle with the white and the black on each side, and that it's about the dot of black within the white and the dot of white within the black. It's about realizing the duality within and without, the in and out more than the as above, so below. But with that being said, you can just quickly utilize this statement, as above, so below, as within, so without. Nothing is without you. You are the divine witness of all. So the fact that it is of you, that means it is of your mind. Now your avatar is here to host your mind, this consciousness. So what would be the most obvious way of decoding our realm? Well, it would start with the human anatomy. Is it that the cosmos are your body, or is that your body is the cosmos? I'll give you a moment to meditate on that. Again, everything exists because of you. You are the divine witness. Without you, there is no universe. It is you. You are Neo, finding out that Neo is the one. All of you. You're all a glitch in the matrix. You're all here realizing this, whilst many are completely asleep to it. Also, it's better that they don't wake up to this, because this knowledge being in the wrong hands can be devastating and volatile. This knowledge is only meant for a certain person, for a certain consciousness. So this is a very motivating thing for me to get into my newest course that I'll be releasing in a couple months, called the Decoding Mastermind, and it's going to be a very unique take on a lot of ideas that have been shared throughout the ages. I'm going to be going very deep into it, and you guys know me. I try to create educational materials that have utility. So it's not just you going through a course and you're like, oh, cool, I know things now. I don't create that way. I create things that make people feel things, and then with that feeling state, they could take action. That's what real wisdom is. Wisdom is much different than knowledge. Knowledge is just the data you have. Wisdom is the application of the data you have. Knowing when to use it wisely. Knowing how to play chess when everyone around you is playing checkers. And also, never being obedient in the process. And the more I learned about this code and how to apply it and how to live through it, it creates the ultimate example of sovereignty. But answering your question about the code, it's all based off of the interpretations of the mind of man, the perception of the mind of man, and that would be through observation of nature and how it reflects in the body. Everything was the body and Mother Nature. That was what helped us name or come up with our belief systems about what is within the firmament and what is outside of the firmament. It's what helped us come up with the idea of what the firmament even is. It's all there in every Abrahamic religion, and before it, what all those Abrahamic religions plagiarized. It's the same creation story over and over and over again. Even the human anatomy was named after this stuff. The entire nomenclature comes back to these origins. So like I said, it would take a lot to break down, but it's coming soon. Decoding Mastermind's coming soon. It's going to wrap up a 3-course, package between Crypto Mastermind, Expansion Mastermind, and this Decoding Mastermind. That will be, the Trinity. As it's packaged together, it's going to bring all of my life's work into one comprehensive work of art and all in one place. So I'm really excited. I really have a lot of work to do on that in the background. I'm motivated, though, to get it done. Just looking through some comments right now. Me and the Bearable Bull will probably be connecting soon. I'm not sure. I would have, we were going to do a live stream today, actually, but couldn't commit to that. D Vortex, I hope you're doing very, very well. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Much love. Also, Mr. Jansen, I hope you are doing very well, brother. Appreciate you. Sending you lots of love, too. Birdman415, please, you're spamming the chat. This isn't the place to do that. We're all respecting this space. You have taken the same comment and repeatedly posted it, and it's killing the vibe. Look Within says fasting and sweating are the best detox. Yes and no. It's really, what I would say is that breaking the pattern is the best detox. So if you put yourself in a pattern where you're continuously fasting, you're continuously doing things that are so-called alkaline, you're doing the cold plunges and the sauna and like all of this shit every day, all the time, your body will get used to it. See, this is something that a lot of people, and by the way, who made this comment, I'm not directly going after you. I'm rounding out what you're saying. The best detox is the pattern breaker. Think about this. The best healing modality is when you disrupt the pattern. That is the truth. The body gets used to everything. The organism gets used to everything. You're designed to get used to stuff. This is why once people start treating their body like shit, they will continue to do it for the rest of their lives. It's a very easy pattern to follow. It's obviously a lot more difficult to do something that is more difficult. But don't get it twisted. You can be doing the difficult stuff over and over and over and over again. You could be doing the things that are so-called healthy over and over and over again. And it will eventually hit a state of homeostasis. You will balance out there. And then you will need to bring in novel stimuli to break that pattern. Study bodybuilding, study anything regarding long-term fasting. You'll see that that eventually is the case, unless you've practiced it yourself and you know and can feel what I'm saying. Everything in the body is just working off of what it's experienced and then what it gets used to. Like drugs. You take a hit of whatever, and then like a painkiller. Then next week you need 2. Then the week after that you need 3. Then the next thing you know, you need a painkiller every couple of hours to just not feel like shit. The human body is designed to fall for that trap. And it even works with the quote unquote good things. Everything eventually stalls out and hits a plateau. And then you will need to break the pattern. That's really what healing is. Healing is the pattern breaker. I need to talk about what I just said, by the way, in a course lesson in my Expansion Mastermind. So thank you. Kind of you making that statement and then me channeling in for a moment, that really helped. So I appreciate you. I'm very grateful because Yeah, that would be a dope course lesson to add in. But you guys got to hear first. Okay, Birdman 415, I'm sorry we have to do this, but it's just the only thing, the only way to, yeah, this is very, very disruptive. Sorry, family. Sorry we have to deal with that sometimes. Bundy says, hey, Jordan, my young cousin, he's only 21, just joined the Patreon a few weeks ago. He's been listening and loves your art, and I'm so happy he resonates with it. Really good for him. That really means the world to me. Let your cousin know I said much love, and I appreciate the support, and appreciate you being a Patreon supporter as well in our mastermind community. It's so great what we're doing over there. It's so rare what we're doing over there. And anyone who's part of the Patreon, tomorrow I will be coming out with a new Red Pill podcast. Last week was fire. We condensed it. Oh, excuse me 1 second. I'm just making sure my vocal levels are good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, we condensed it up a little bit shorter than the past couple, but it's more just because we're in a moment right now where we needed to wait for that FOMC meeting. Now it came and went, so we will be focusing tomorrow on the play in response to this FOMC, and it's looking exactly how we anticipated. Like, this whole week setup, gorgeous. It's really in alignment with our overall investment thesis. So anyone who's been following along here, this is it, man. The way that these indices are looking, it's in perfect alignment with what I shared in my last Red Pill podcast. One of the most accurate interpretations of those charts. So we went over the NASDAQ, S&P, Dow. After that FOMC, it did exactly into the weekly close what we talked about, the key scenario to look out for. It's playing out. So yeah, that's going to affect crypto, and we'll be covering all of that tomorrow in the Red Pill podcast. Got about 900 people with us. Appreciate y'all. Just looking through some questions. Dreddy1 says, it's great that y'all have the knowledge, but where your heart at? Where's your faith at? A lot of you have not done the work, but you think having the knowledge will save you. Mamma mia. No one thinks, let me clear up something real quick for you. Nobody here thinks anything will fucking save them. We're not waiting for a savior. We're doing life. We're here. Fuck the knowledge. The knowledge is irrelevant. A man with a library of books is a man with a lot of reading material. Life experience is where it's at. We're not here waiting for shit. We're changing life now. There is no faith here. We don't need faith. Faith is a shit technology. It's a technology for slaves. But welcome. Maniac Killer said, hey brother, keep up the good work. I always wanted to ask you, what do you mean by someone is being ritualized? Example, Trump or Tate. I appreciate the super chat. We could quickly get to this. So when we talk about something being ritualized, we just want everyone to make this, realization that it's not as it was shown to us. It's not as it seems. So the whole thing that went on with Andrew Tate, we've talked about this, we've decoded this. His rise and fall happened during his year, during the year of the tiger. This is another element to what we're doing here in our decoding system, is we're applying the Chinese zodiac. This is a typical thing that happens where people get a lot of opportunity in their Chinese zodiac year, and some of them know how to utilize it. Some of them know how to like take advantage of this, and most don't, because most don't even consider this. So the problem here, though, is that if you do things in your Chinese zodiac year purely just for the prana and just for the fame and just for the celebrity and just for feeding off of everyone's belief in you, then it will be as fast as you rose, will be as quickly as you fall. So in the same year that he pretty much becomes one of the most popular humans on earth over Trump, he also gets arrested, and now they're trying to talk all this shit about him, human trafficking, like all this stuff. Now, I'm not here to say it's true or false. I don't give a fuck what's happening to Andrew Tate. To me, Andrew Tate is this guy. I've already talked about this in the past. This is Andrew Tate. It's the Hulkster. All right? It's this dude. It's just fucking wrestling. It's Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk. It's this. Every time you're hearing anything about a celebrity, you're watching this happen. It is make-believe, scripted, staged bullshit. So the ritual is just, it's not as it seems. It's not real as it's been shared to you. There's a deeper thing going on here. And it's a prana harvesting ritual, very similar to today, this September 23rd apocalypse shit. Yeah, we're trolling on it because it needed to be. But this is politics. This is celebrity. This is fame. This is Trump and Biden here. Trump has Biden in a headlock. It's all a stage. We're the experiment. Every single human being right now on this earth is being put through a test, an experiment. You know, it's funny, in religion, they say testament. Testament is test the mind. Mente, mentis, mind. Don't look at the code. It's a mind test. You know, you have government. Governare, to control. Mind. Mind control. That's what government means. They're all the same. So it's all ritual. You're not shaking hands with these guys. You don't really know who they are. You'll probably never meet them. And when you do, they've gone through many trainings, CIA level trainings of how to behave accordingly when they're with normal people. It's called grooming, and they have handlers, and their handlers have the actual ability to remote control on their physical body and their consciousness. If you don't know what I'm talking about now, you have to learn a little bit more about how hypnosis works. You need to learn about trigger words, and you need to study MK Ultra. All of them are involved in this stuff. They're all being used. So if you think that you're enslaved or you think that you don't have freedom, think again. These guys at the top are more enslaved than you. The chains around their ankles are thicker. You have more access to sovereignty by just being fearless and in a love frequency and not falling for the fear, as opposed to these people who've sold their soul for $1, for some fancy shiny jewelry and a Lamborghini, all of which you could attain as well, and you could do it in a way that doesn't cost you your entire experience here in the Matrix. Be honorable. Dutch 4 XRP said, Mastermind Course is really mind-blowing. That means a lot. I appreciate you. Stranger Things says Neo is a Jesus resemblance. So, okay. Neo is part of an extension of the player characters that he's meeting throughout these 4 movies, the Matrix saga, okay? Neo is an organ, okay? He's like the liver. Trinity is the heart. Morpheus is the mind, or the brain. The architect is the body that it all hosts. You see, the oracle is the eyes. Take some time to think about what I'm saying right now. See, this whole Jesus thing, this Jesus technology, I feel like we need to talk about it more. We need to talk about it not under the lenses of religion as much as the lenses of what's happening at a deeper, more esoteric perspective. But I want you to be aware. Neo is just one of the components of the player characters he's meeting along the way. When he meets the Merovingian, who is Pluto or Hades, he is now meeting a piece of him. When he meets the architect, he's meeting a piece of him. This is like a fucking transformer, okay? And the same thing goes for you, family. When you meet the person, the love of your life, you're not meeting a separate individual. You're meeting an extension of you. I'll leave it there. Danny XRP 117 says, how come we have not seen a Black Swan event for Jubilee? Is it because most of us were expecting it? No. It's because the idea of a Black Swan event is a moment in time that exists between a period of time that we've been talking about a lot here, and I talked about it specifically in my last YouTube video and in my last Red Pill podcast, which is between the end of Jubilee, which is Rosh Hashanah, which was just a couple of days ago, by the way, and the next solar eclipse. And that solar eclipse is October 14th. It's a window of time. When we study the way that market crashes happen regarding the connection to either Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or another, holiday or time frame, depending if you're in the 7-year cycle or not. So we don't see it happen exactly on the day. We see it happen in between. Because it works. Okay, I know I might be losing some people here, so work with me slowly here. I've been talking about the potential Black Swan event for finance happening between Rosh Hashanah into October 14th solar eclipse. So there we go. We have the time frame. Now, why does it work the way that it does on the world stage? Like why the biggest market crashes haven't happened exactly on one of these days? It's because it works like the moon does. The moon is growing. The moon is, you see, it's like waxing and waning. It works as such. So think about it like new moon to full moon, all right? It's kind of like that essence. You have a window of time, and it works as an inhalation, exhalation. It's a celebratory moment right now that it's the end of the Jubilee, right? You think of the negative things to occur as we leave that essence and when the party's over. It's like musical chairs. When the music is done playing, who's the last ass to be in a chair? That's the person who gets fucked over. So all I've been telling people here in my work is that you don't want to be the last ass in the chair when the music stops playing. And by the way, the music has stopped playing already. It's like that movie Margin Call. I don't hear a fucking sound. I don't know about you, but I know what my intuition's telling me. So be okay with whatever comes next. That was always the thing. We've been preparing an investment thesis now for a year. If you're new to the channel, at whatever length of time, I've been reminding you over and over again every week. That's all. You have your trading plan. Trade your plan. The world never ends. Your body does. This is some delicious coffee. Your body is just the CD player. That's all. Your body is just the CD player. Your brain is the CD, and the music that plays is your soul. Oh, also, another time frame to talk about, because we've been talking so much about this upcoming solar eclipse, and something I want to let everyone know about, because I was asked if I would come out with a decode in September. There was really no need to, because we've been focused so much on coming out with these smaller decodes in preparation for this time. But next month, I'm thinking about as early as October 1st, at the start of the new month, I will be coming out with a new full presentation decode that will be dedicated to the Great American Eclipse. So you could look forward to that. Anyone over on Patreon, you'll have access to this new decode I'm going to release. It's going to be packed full of gems. So I'm really excited to be talking about that, because that's the time frame between October 14th all the way up till April 8th. It's pretty much going to give everyone a breakdown of my thoughts on the end of this year, leading into the start of 2024. And next Chinese New Year, as well as this April 8th eclipse, which I've talked about a lot, how important the April 8th, 2024 eclipse is for a world event. Like, again, a reminder, what I've been talking about in the month of September for the whole year has been about finances. But when I talk about a world event, something that will happen that everyone in the world will know about, it is April 2024. Oh, and by the way, I think it's going to be extremely positive for cryptocurrency. That's my opinion. And I'm going to be revealing a lot of that information in this upcoming decode. So I'm working hard behind the scenes to do this Great American Eclipse Decoded. Anyone here who's been following along on my Patreon, you know that my decode presentations, I really put a lot of my heart and soul into them. The last couple of them have been packed full of information, way more than I even thought I would have put in them. But once I get into my decoding flow state, it's just, yeah. It's really where I feel the most comfortable, and I'm excited to take some time to just let this all flow into a new presentation regarding a topic and a time frame that I've talked about a lot, but I know I just scatter the information here and there, so having something that's comprehensive and all in one video I think would be extremely valuable for everyone. So I'm looking forward to that. And it will talk a lot about my own investment thesis and how I'm playing the Q4 timeline into Q1 2024. So it's going to definitely talk a lot about crypto and finances and how we could take advantage of this time, because I think really, truly, this is one of the last bull runs that we're moving into, where we'll have these exponentially, incredible ROI opportunities, where we're seeing 5,000% returns, 10,000% returns. I think this is the last cycle we will have that. The next cycle will be leading into the next Shemitah. And the one that's after the Jubilee is a doozy. Year of the Monkey. So we can't get too ahead of ourselves. It's only 2023 right now. There's no point of talking about the 2028 cycle. But as I said, I think this gnosis is extremely important to have right now because it allows us to see the importance of what one huge opportunity could do in transforming your future and transforming your life. And another thing, this isn't about getting rich. You're already rich. Whenever anyone who doesn't think that they're already trillionaires, you have a lot more time to be hanging out with us here. We say this all the time. Somebody asks how much you're worth, you say you're a trillionaire. I remember when I talked with Coach JV about this, and we aligned a lot on this spell, on the way that we look at wherever we're at the soul level. The bank account is one thing. But if you're already envisioning where you are at, not where you think you'll be, and it's not about being rich in that way, it's about what you'll do with those resources. What will you do when XRP goes to 589 or whatever the fuck you think? We talk about this a lot because it's important. So many people just want to get rich and then they don't know what they'll do with those resources. And that's why they just blow it all on liabilities. So here we have a much more developed strategic plan of what we're going to be doing with these resources. What will you do when you have more access to more opportunity? Are you going to go out and buy Bugattis with it? Are you going to go out and blow it all on Rolexes? Or are you going to use it, put it to work for you so that you could create generational wealth for your people? See, what sets you guys apart from many, those who are tuning in right now, you're a glitch in this matrix. A big thing that you will do, or that you will realize that you are doing, is you are leaving a ripple effect on the universe right now, just by existing here. And when you don't squander this opportunity and you actually utilize this opportunity that you have, you're going to see that it sets up your people for success. It's bigger than you. It outlives you. You're just here handing off the baton. And if you take all of your actions solely for yourself and you have no generosity and you have no desire to uplift your people, then as I said moments ago, you will rise fast and you will fall even faster. This is a very, very important time for you to take an inventory of your people. Make sure that the people that you're keeping close to you, make sure that they're willing to go through the trenches with you. This is not a time to be surrounded by soft people with small minds. You need to surround yourself by people who are strong. And not just physically, we're talking consciously. Take an inventory of your people, because when you go through this wealth transfer, you're going to see a lot of parasites come out of the woodwork. You're going to see a lot of fake friends who are pretending to like you now. You're going to see a lot of people in your family, in your community, that didn't give a shit about you, but now all of a sudden, you're a king to them. So a big piece of this preparation phase is take an inventory of the people in your circle and trim the fat. That's probably the most important detox you can do right now, is get rid of the parasitic people in your life. And bring bigger minds, stronger minds closer to you. This is not only for motivation, but this is for innovation. So that when you have this access to resources, you're more innovative with it and you're not just squandering it on liabilities. Now, I'm not saying don't go out and take care of yourself. You know, if you want to have a nice car, you want to have a nice house, you deserve, like, that's on you, right? I'm not telling you to not enjoy this matrix. I'm just saying make more generational decisions. Set yourself up as if you were a chess master thinking 20 moves ahead. Because as quick as you can earn that money is as quick as it can go away. And that's what happened to most in the 2020-2022 bull run during that whole phase. So many that took advantage of that 2021 run-up, they didn't even know that they needed to give 40% of it back to the IRS. Like, a lot of people didn't even know what they were involved in. Then they got hit with that tax bill. Now they couldn't even pay it back. And then they acquired all these liabilities between then and that moment. And now some people filed for bankruptcy. Some people were getting involved in refinancing their house to have excess fiat to go invest in the market at the top. I heard about people 2 weeks before Elon went on Saturday Night Live, where everyone was thinking that Doge was just going to keep going up. People that were taking out loans on their house, buying Doge within like 10% of the top. You see, like, people make stupid decisions because they decide to fall for everyone else's greed. And the reason they fall for it is because they themselves don't have a trading plan. Now, it's important we focus on we need to focus on developing our own investment thesis. I know I keep saying it, but I want to hammer that one in because now it's really, really important. It's more important than ever. We're going to see in the year of 2024, family, like, I just want to get you ready for this. We're going to see a repeat of what happened in 2021. Where a lot of social media influencers are going to come out of nowhere with 1 million follower channels talking about crypto for the first time ever. Or they were silent during the bear market and they only came out again during the bull run to sell you on the same bullshit. Protect your prana. Protect yourself. What we're doing here is not following what I'm telling you. I'm not telling people to copy me and follow me as some investment advice. That's not it. I'm here sharing the skills of how you can determine what you should be doing, whether that be with technical analysis or decoding or just purely mindset. What we're talking about here is self-reliance, not copying. I don't want anyone to be tethered to my moves, because I want you to be able to make your own moves. I think it's the most beautiful thing to see self-reliance in my people. I'm just the reminder. I forgot who said it, but it was one of my favorite lines. He said, "I'm just the espresso in the morning." That's all I am. I'm just your morning cup of coffee. I'm your cold plunge. But you're the one who's stepping into the ice water. Remember that. We got about 1,000 people with us. It's the first time ever. I appreciate y'all. It's beautiful to see on a Saturn day. Everyone taking their time to come hang out. I'm grateful. Gonna be getting some chat questions, but I hope you guys appreciate the market wisdom, the investment wisdom. Somebody said duality is a trap. Well, I'll quickly share my thoughts on it. I don't think duality is a trap. I think duality is a teacher. Duality is an opportunity. Now, us being in the trap of duality is where we get to feel that, and we get to experience it. And through that feeling and through that experience, we could determine that this isn't for us, but it's for them. Duality is a necessity of the matrix. It's needed. The average person needs left and right and red and blue and Democrat, Republican. They need it. It's what feeds them, but it's not what feeds you. Because your soul doesn't have a digestive system. Your ego doesn't have a digestive system. It doesn't need any calories. The average person needs duality. It's what maintenances them. It's what keeps them behaving. And if you don't think that that's necessary, then you just don't know mankind. You don't know your fellow man. Now, here, us, we have access to a broader bandwidth of frequency. We have access to more gnosis. That doesn't mean that we as well can misuse it. How many people in the so-called truther community have misused their apocalyptic prediction on this particular date that we're sitting at right now? That they've been preparing, and here we are. It's just another day. You're going to eat, piss, drink, shit, and you're going to go to sleep. We could misuse gnosis a lot. It's a weapon. So duality is an opportunity. I believe we must all go through it. We must all meet the devil and God to then become the devil and God, to then transcend through both of those things, and to see that feeling and experiencing and learning about all of that stuff was a necessity as you stepped up the rungs of consciousness. If you're unable to realize the darkness in yourself, then your ego is in la la land. You have some work to do. Realize that you facing your darkness and that your darkness is there is what will allow the light to shine through that darkness. It's what will make you more compassionate. It's what will make you a better self. It's what will make you higher self. It's what will remind you that you are soul, that you are spirit. If you're not ready to see that in you, if you're not ready to realize the shadow, well, then there you go. It's like what we're looking at right now. Everything has contrast. There's mountaintops, peaks that we can't see as well. The darkness is there, but in the background, we could see the light. It's that shadow and that realization of the contrast is where the beauty is. It's all beautiful, even the pain. Chris Topher, I appreciate your super chat, brother. You said, thank you for being a mentor in life. Much love. Wow. But you're my mentor too. We're all here. We're sharing this experience. I appreciate you. Jaleesa says, how to transition from a student to a teacher. You asked a beautiful question, and this will be part of my next big project that I'll be coming out with in 2024. I can't give any spoilers on that, but just letting everyone know that if you think what we're doing now is like the epitome, well, we're not even close. We're just getting started. This is the beginning of something big. And we're at the ground floor right now, family. This is really, really just the start. So I've made a lot of realizations in the last 6 months of what we could do here, of my position in this matrix, and I'm humbled. Even I have my own limiting beliefs. Even I have my own moments of doubt. Even I have my own moments where I say, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But I've been working at that the last 6 months, and I thank all of you for being a part of it, for being a part of me, channeling truth, sharing it, being vulnerable, getting to pause and reflect, see where I'm limiting myself, and then expand through that, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. So the next big project that I have is going to be solely focused on how to take everyone's specialty, everyone's purpose, and bring it to life in any capacity. Of course, a lot of people are very focused on business because as they develop business, they're able to escape working as in a job sense. So we're definitely going to be focusing a lot on training, coaching, creating teachers. And if that's something that's interesting to you, then just stick around. It's going to be a big project. I'm really excited for it. It's going to take everything that I've ever worked on in all of my courses and bring it into a new program. So probably shouldn't say any more. And again, I really appreciate 1,000 people hanging out with us right now. It's amazing. David Canas says, first time listening on a live chat. Gotta say, I absolutely love it. Soon I will be able to afford all of your oh wow. That really means the world to me, David. And it's great to have you here with us. Appreciate you spending the time. Actually, I'll say that again. I appreciate you investing your time. Was Kraken said, to quote the Red Hot Chili Peppers, space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. So I said this on I'm just going to talk directly to Was Kraken right now because this is really funny. And it's an experiment that I did. In one of my videos recently, maybe last month, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what the video was, but I said that. I literally said that quote, and we were talking about outer space and just the psyop of NASA, right? And it was the video that triggered the most people. Like out of everything that I talk about, believe it or not, that was the one that triggered the most people. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe you said space is fake and Mars is fake. And I'm like, yo, people take this stuff personally. It's like they take what they've learned about from NASA personally, as if NASA is their daddy, telling them some story about their family lineage. Like, come on, fam. Like, don't be taking this stuff personally. You didn't do anything about any of this. You were born into this world and you learned about this stuff. Now you're getting offended? Like, pride is an interesting technology, and I want you all to check in with yourselves when pride gets the best of you. Why would anyone be concerned about another man's opinion about what happens from an institution sharing their CGI fucking pictures that they've admitted are all edited? Like this, you know, NASA straight up tells you directly it's composite imagery. Everything they've ever done. They've admitted to this. I'm not here to say that I don't even need to be against the organization. Just they straight up told you to your face that it is all photoshopped. It's all composite imagery. I'm having fun with this shit, man. I think it's hilarious. Like, I think the fact that people lose so much of their prana to this outer space stuff is amazing. It's like it just shows where we're at as a species. We're more worried about what's going on outside. We don't even worry about taking care of our own fucking families or our own communities. People are more lost in what's going on in the moon than they are in taking care of their children. Like, wake up, bro. Take care of your health. Take care of your spirit. Like, don't worry about what's going on and fucking what Elon's doing with SpaceX. Doesn't concern you. Stay in your lane. Take care of your people. Take care of your wife. Like, what do you worry? What the fuck? See, like, I'm not like the rest of these guys, man. Anyways, getting back to that, I thought that was an interesting experiment. How like one statement in a video could be so triggering, and then it can make somebody disregard every other thing that's going on in the video. Because that's what happens. Pride has this way of reducing and minimizing all the other data because you were offended. Isn't that interesting? I've gone through it too. I've gone through it too. We've all gone through it. We've all gone through a moment where our ability to resonate with somebody was severed because we got offended. This happens to 40-year-olds, 60-year-olds, fucking any age. It's not just something that's happening in teenagers or something that's happening in Gen X or whatever. It's not that. Everyone's offended about something. Just watch how at the moment that you next get offended, I want you to practice something. I want you to see how quickly you could jump back into the ability to resonate. Just try that and see how you feel. See how your fucking blood chemistry changes. Because when people get offended, their cheeks get red, their body temperature increases, their heart rate goes up. You become your belief physiologically. That's what being offended does to you. So all I'm saying is just practice, seeing how quickly you could jump back into resonation. Try that. Magali, you said, are you attending hosting the expo in San Diego in October with Logan and Jason. No, I will not. I will not. But I did get the invite. I was told about it several times from Logan. Again, I'm really appreciative and grateful. But I will not. I have a lot of other priorities and stuff I need to take care of, stuff I'm building, and I need to share that architecture with the world. That's my priority right now. A lot of people today have been asking about, demons and devil and like that sort of stuff, like that other side of the coin. And from an elite level, the apex predator, from that perspective, we're talking about like these bloodlines that go back to Sumerian times that are running this realm. They're stewards of the Matrix. You've heard of their names, everything back from the Medici family to what we call the Rothschilds today. These bloodlines, these families, they worship a couple things. But one of them is Baal, Moloch, and the other is Apollyon, the destroyer. So Apollyon gets masked and confused for a lot of other things, such as Venus or Aphrodite, what is called Eosphorus or Phosphorus, the light bearer. That is Apollyon, Apollo, Helios, Helios, Leo. Leo the lion of Judah. Apollyon is what they worship. And Apollyon is hermaphroditic. This is Alexander the Great. This is Britannica, Great Britain. This is Minerva. That is all Apollyon. It is also Hermes, who is Mercury. This is Apollyon. They start to confuse you through the mythology, and they start to manipulate you. You got to realize what I said earlier. What did I say about Neo? Neo meeting Trinity was just him meeting another part of himself. When Neo met Morpheus, he just met another part of himself. When Neo met Cypher, who was the Judas character, he just met another part of himself. The 12 disciples of Jesus are just extensions of Jesus. They are parts of the body. One is a leg, the other one's a leg. Then you have arm, head, Allah. Your hair is an extension of your crown chakra. It's your antennas. Everything is an extension of you, the universe. That is Neo, the one. Apollyon is who they worship. So now that we have that out there, do your research, have fun. In the Decoding Mastermind, we're going to be talking a lot about the symbolism here and how we're able to determine that it's all more alike than it is different because it's all just part of an organism. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, etc., they're all just one. They're parts of a body. I'll leave it there because it's a complicated thing. But all this Satan and Lucifer shit, this is exoteric, okay? This is the distraction of distractions. It's really Apollo, the sun. It is literally the sun. It's sun worship. They turn the sun into a duality by giving you the son of God or the son of the day, the son of the morning, and then there's the son of the night. These stories, again, are going back through mythology over and over and over again. They've been plagiarized horribly by the Abrahamic religions, and they've made it in a way that's confused people from knowing this. And then they gave the New Agers access to this astrology stuff, and then that got corrupted, and that got misused. Then they gave them tarot, again, corrupted, misused. A lot of these decoding systems are in the wrong hands. They're not wrong. It's not that the system is wrong. It's not that tarot is wrong. It's not that astrology is wrong. It's that The person who uses it is not an alchemist. They're not a magician. You give lead to everyone, and not everyone is able to convert it into gold. You give tarot cards to everyone, they're going to turn it into a lump of shit. I'm not here to shit on tarot cards or human design or say that sidereal is better than tropical or any of that. These are all systems that have their merit, and they're just in the wrong hands. Again, no offense. It is what it is. We've all been on the side of getting bamboozled, and through that experience, we awaken. Embrace the moment where you were manipulated. Embrace the moment where you fell for it. Once you're able to laugh at it and no longer be the victim, that is where you'll grow. You're pruning yourself. But it's important we get this out of the way. And by the way, we've talked about this a lot in the past. Since I started the channel, we've spoken about Apollyon. But now I know we've grown a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. We're heading towards 70,000 subs. I believe we'll get there for probably into the end of the year, probably get into 80. And some people have even made comments that this channel's getting too popular, so it must not be telling the truth. Well, let's ask people, hey, Mr. Jansen, D Vortex, maybe Dave, he's around, Dustin, you guys with us? Have we started getting softer here? Have we started holding back more? Or has shit gotten even spicier over the last 6 months? I don't know about you, but we've been revealing some fucking truth here. No one's holding back, even as we grow. That's not me, man. I'm not behaving. Every time they want me to be obedient, I'm going the other direction. Rupert Vaughn said, I'd love to see you do a collab with Blockchain Backer. Thanks for the wisdom, my friend. Rupert, I appreciate the super chat, brother. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. As for a collaboration with Blockchain Backer, I've talked with Bearable Bull about it because Bearable Bull has done a collaboration with Blockchain Backer. And because of a couple of times this year, I've had differing, I mean, not intentionally, but I've had my own thesis on some things, and it's divided the community in this Blockchain Backer versus WatersAbove thing. And I was vocal about this probably a month ago, where I told everyone, let's stop doing that, because I'm a creator, I'm an architect, I believe so is Blockchain Backer. There's a mutual respect there, and I respect anyone who's a creator who's sharing their truth with the world. And that's where I have my honor and respect, regardless if I agree or disagree. That's not what I'm about. I'm not here to agree or disagree with people. I'm here to collaborate with them. And there's been a lot of division over the past year between like who's the guy who's going to be right, whether it's Blockchain Backer or Waters, and that's not it. Like, I want everyone to just go with any data that either anyone says, not even just us two, anyone, and just resonate with it. Don't believe in any of it. Just resonate with it. Take bits and pieces of the gnosis that you pick up from everyone and apply it to your truth. Have it be a conduit to unlock the electricity of your truth. That's all. So I would love to collaborate with him. He has a very massive channel. I mean, I'm not sure if he's even interested in my methods because I've heard him be very vocal about some of this stuff. And I don't know if he means to talk down on it. I don't think that's his intention, but many people have come to me and basically said that they would have zero, like he would have no interest in talking with you because you talk about the moon cycles and astrology and Gematria and all this stuff. And what I told Bearable Bull in my first podcast with him is he said to me directly, and it's a reason why I respect Bull, he said to me directly that he doesn't believe in any of that esoteric shit. I mean, I believe he does now because of getting to know me and watching how all of our podcasts have pretty much come to life, especially that 80 to 90 cent target on XRP that I talked about, and how I was vocal publicly about de-risking is one of my most accurate plays of the entire career that I've had here on YouTube. But But anyways, with that being said, he told me straight up that he doesn't believe in it at all. So how did I respond to Bull? I said to him, okay, fine. We don't need to talk about anything esoteric. And by the way, shout out to Bearable Bull. I'm not sure if he's here with us right now, but the whole thing here was I responded to him instantly and I said, okay, that's fair. If you don't believe in any of the esoteric stuff, then let's just talk charts. Let's just talk the economy. I can play, I'll show up wherever, whenever, without a script, and we'll talk about whatever you want. If you don't want to talk any Gematria or decoding, that is fine. So if Blockchain Backer wants to communicate with me and he doesn't want to talk about anything esoteric at all, then that's dope. Like, whatever, man. Like, I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not just showing up with some like fucking hippy dippy woo woo. That was the point of the channel. The point of this channel was to combine the esoteric of Gematria, numerology, astrology, and just decoding and the fundamentals of it to the charts, to have both, so that if you don't get down with the decoding stuff, you have something tangible to look at and you could walk away with the skill of being able to read the charts. Either or. There's a little flavor for everyone, you know? That's how I roll. So, again, if Blockchain Backer wants to communicate with me and get together on that collab, I'm down to make it happen. I believe it'll be a very enlightening conversation for all of us. And I could talk about the method to my madness of how I anticipated the March into June, July run-up for XRP, specifically to those price targets, and how I was vocal before that even if we have some clarity regarding the SEC versus Ripple case, that I still do not feel we will go much higher than 80 to 90 cents. And I talked about that before it happened. That's how it went. I believe he had some differing sort of opinions. He was against the 4-year cycle. Oh, and by the way, this is stuff that Bull and that I got from watching some snippets of the Bearable Bull and his interview. So there's two main things that I think got in the way of where we were seeing this market. One of which was that he was a firm believer, I believe, again, maybe I'm misquoting here, but he was a firm believer that we're more likely to go straight up for XRP now. And that was at the time where XRP was trading and hovering around like 60 to 70 cents after it hit the 80 cent area, I'm pretty sure. Then the other thing was he's not a believer of the 4-year cycles. Now, I am not either, but what I've taught about the 4-year cycles is that it has more to do with solar cycle and lunar cycle, which is more esoteric. It has to do with astrology for sure, but we can't deny that data. We can't deny that every solar cycle we have seen Bitcoin in price discovery. Every lunar cycle we've seen the 70 to 90% corrections in the entire market triggered off of Bitcoin. Like, so who cares if we call it 4-year cycle or the halving or whatever? It doesn't matter. We have a stronger piece of data that's more important. And that's what I've been talking about in my work. We would just quickly summarize the idea by talking about the 4-year cycle because of semantics. It's just easy to call it that, okay? But we're not believers in any of that shit. We're looking at the esoteric to get the juice, to get the answers, you know, to get the truth of truths of why the market moves the way that it does. So I would love to collaborate with him. Maybe he can share or clear up some of the things and I could share my truths. And I think that would be a dope conversation. I don't see why it can't happen. You know, I'm very open to having these discussions with people. Decode your reality. I appreciate you showing up, brother. I was just giving you a shout out earlier for several reasons. But again, we need to get together soon and have this podcast we've been talking about. We have 2 podcasts to do, brother. We have one dedicated to health, to just talk about, you know, health and wellness. And then we have another one to just talk about what's been going on. You know, I know you've been making some incredible finds lately. But Decode Your Reality commented, every day is an archetype, and every day sings REM's song every day. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. How do you feel? Absolutely similar. I shared that at the beginning of this live stream. I think you'd appreciate the way this one kicked off, Logan. Maybe you could go re-listen to the beginning. I share my thoughts on this idea of the apocalypse and why the collective needs it to feel this interesting sense of security that this tragedy that they're living in is going to come to a conclusion, all a while disregarding the now moment, the present, and not taking advantage of it as the greatest and only opportunity to take action. Somebody said the sun is fake, right? The sun is a portal. It's the mouth of a dragon. It is a wormhole. It emits light frequency. And I mean light/frequency. It is just frequency. That is all. Condensed. Smoker Club. Appreciate the super chat, sending you lots of love. Yeah, the sun is just a portal. Okay. Somebody said, how would you describe faith? Faith is very similar to what we said about the apocalypse. It's a necessary technology of the mind of man to make us feel a sense of security. Faith is needed so that it could support the illusion of tomorrow. Faith supports tomorrow. That's all it does. Faith and hope are a very interesting yet slippery slope that no one need slide down. Be here. Your faith is always wrapped up in the illusory theory of time. All faith is a technology. It's a powerful one. It's an extremely powerful one. My methodology is just be like Houdini. We're all like Houdini. This matrix has set up many traps for us. You're the one that could be wrapped up in a straitjacket, handcuffed with your legs tied behind your back while you're in a burlap sack underwater. That's what you are. You're the escape artist. That's what it's like to be a divergent here in this simulation, in the simulacrum. That is what a wolf is. Everyone that's here today, you are Houdini. You're just breaking free from the idea of the chains that are on you, not the actual chains that are on you, because there are none. And you're able to break free from them in a way that looks fascinating. The way that you're able to break out of the prison is the sexiest breakthrough of all time. I know that's going to make some people laugh, but it's just truth. You probably had a life where, because you thought differently, because you had a different way of perceiving this reality, everyone in the collective trolled you and they thought you were crazy. They said you were wearing a tinfoil hat. The whole realm thinks that you were a clown. And it took you time to make them take you more seriously. And you learned that you never needed to make them take you seriously. You just needed to show them how present and how purposeful you can make this life, how useful you can become. And you did this through your actions. Now that you're embodying your truth and embodying your purpose, no one's laughing now. Their laughs have been converted into curiosity. It's when you need to convince them that you still look like a fucking clown. Stop convincing people of your truth. Live your truth. You've broken free. So now that you've broken free, everyone's staring at you going, oh shit, I could do that too. So that's the interesting piece to that idea of faith. Probably talk about it more another time. I think there's so much to explore about the idea of the technology of faith. And we're not even going to talk about it through the context of religion. Talk about it in a whole different way. D-Vortex, appreciate you. Jay Whitehair says, Trinity, the holiest within ourselves. So Trinity, I'll talk about it from the Matrix movie perspective, and we talked about it a couple times as well. Trinity is just the feeling state of love. So love is a very complicated technology because love makes you single out individuals. Love makes you single out stuff, right? You say you love your dog, and you do. And when you hear about the next door neighbor's cousin's brother had their dog got hit by a car, you spend maybe 3 seconds being compassionate, where you're like, oh, that's unfortunate, that sucks. But if it was your dog, you would be bawling your fucking eyes out for a week straight. You'd be mourning. And I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way. It's important to feel. I want everyone to feel. Explore your feelings, embrace your pain. But what I'm showing right now is that love, it's technical. It is the isolation method, if anything. And it has conditions. And I think that if we talk about love from this perspective, we grow the most. Because we can see how we misuse love often. And there's no worse weapon to misuse than the weapon of love. That is a devastating weapon. That is like a nuclear fucking bomb blast. Even though I don't believe in nukes, but we're just using it as an allegorical. Love is powerful. It creates things. It creates people. But love is also destructive. So Trinity is, again, an extension of Neo. But you can see how that is devastating for Neo when he has made the choice that Trinity is dead. And he has that conversation with the Oracle. And the Oracle says, you've already made your choice. You've already made your choice. And what does Neo do in response to this choice he made to have the biggest, most important loss of his life, the loss of his love? He becomes a sacrifice. You notice how he becomes the most fearless when he learns that Trinity will die. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting when you lose the most important thing in your life? It will make you say, well, YOLO. So we live for love. It's one of the things that keeps us here. It's one of the things we're all seeking. It's the only reason we want to be alive. And that's why losing love could be so devastating and so heartbreaking and so dark. So it's a very powerful technology, right? And here, what we're talking about is the exploration of the ideas. That's how we can stay philosophical. We're speaking and thinking about these things curiously. So how do we live a life where we can have love as a tool and not weaponize it? How can we experience and explore and share and be generous with our love? Staying compassionate and open to everyone else's reality and their version and their priority system. I was going to say their version of what reality is to them and their priority system. Now, I'm not telling you to be compassionate for everyone's dog or everybody's favorite car or everyone's personal priority, like what one person favors over the next person. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Stay in your lane. Focus on how you could attenuate what you believe love is so that you could resonate more and believe less, if anything. Because love, in a relationship sense, should be a collaboration. That's why it's called a relationship. You must relate. Most people don't do that because most people don't want to do that. They rather fight. They rather have confrontation. They rather have an issue. They rather have a problem. See, all problems are generated from our minds. Problems don't actually exist. We make them. And a lot of the time, that's what's going on here with love. So what happened with the Matrix movie? What happened with the Matrix movie is that Neo, after falling in love, he became Icarus. And he wanted to fly higher and higher and higher with that until the sun melted the glue to his wings. Then he needed a problem. He needed an issue. That's how life works. The Matrix movie is teaching you about life. So I tell people this a lot because this comes back into the conversation of abundance and when we talk about manifestation, and I have a lot of new material coming out regarding this. Once we start to be on the rise, when we're flying high, how long can you maintenance that? Because most people, when they get there, when they feel success, when they feel love, when they feel present, when they feel happiness, they usually, the next thing they will do is self-sabotage. Because flying high feels awkward. It's too good. It's too much. It's too good to be true. We've heard this a lot. Isn't it funny how everyone wants greatness and wants success and wants to feel alive, but yet the moment they taste life, they fuck it all up by self-sabotaging themselves? Isn't that interesting how we do this? It's no different than what Neo did with Trinity. After he fell in love with her, he started to instantaneously manifest her death. Rewatch the Matrix movie and think about what I just told you. And again, we're not talking about Trinity as a real person. We're talking about her as an extension of Neo's consciousness. That's the difference. It's deep. Brian Kelly, I appreciate your super chat. You said, will my wife ever resonate with me? I've changed so much the last 3 years. I don't expect her to, as I was exactly like her before enlightenment. Brian, yeah, we have a little bit to talk about here. First of all, without your wife, you would not have had your enlightenment. Because every player character that you're meeting, that you're developing relationships with, that you're in the process of collaborating with, is here to help you mine more consciousness. Everyone that is part of your reality is an extension of you, therefore they are a teacher of you, therefore they are promoting and helping your growth. So it's not that what I think your breakthrough is about to be, we'll talk about this. Stop wanting her to wake up and be grateful that she helped you wake up. That's all I'll say. I want you to think about this for some time. And I know, Brian, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to reach to like, but no, she didn't tell me about the mud floods or that Earth is not flat or round or this, the PSYOP and the Gematria. No, she didn't need to do any of that. But what she was a stepping stone in what led you here. As much as you are in her life, it's shared. But I think we corrupt our relationships often, Brian, and this is where I'll wrap this up. We corrupt our relationships at every capacity, whether that's with our children, our lover, our mother, our father, our neighbor, whomever. We corrupt our relationships so often because we don't want to realize that this individual was actually part of our experience in a very metaphysical way, in a very deep way. We don't have the ability to see that they were one of the ripples in our ocean. They were the clouds that formed above you that provided rain when you were in a drought. They allowed you the landscape and the environment for you to have this access to wisdom. You know how many more relationships would be healed if we took a moment to make that realization, if we took a moment to tap into what I just said? Because what we usually do is we go straight to our differences. We go, oh, this person doesn't think the way I do. This person doesn't this person doesn't that. But it's like, is that really the case? How much are you willing to be vulnerable with them? Now, I bet you everything that if you were to go to your wife right now and just tell her, like, lay it all out on the line where you're at with this and be like, I am so grateful for you being a part of my process, being somebody that's allowed me this canvas to have this beautiful art be drawn onto it, you'll see how quickly she'll start taking some of this new wisdom you've acquired seriously. Because you're softening up the energy field between you two. Right now, it's very tense. When you go to her with your version of truth, you're going to her with this tension. And you as the man of the house, you as the male polarity, you need to soften up that whole environment for her. So just think about what I shared. Think about what I was saying. I think that's where the breakthrough is. It's not about spending the prana on what she doesn't know that I know, or that she won't believe what I'm saying, or that she has no ability to accept this new truth. It's not about that. It's that she's allowed the environment and the landscape for you to even be able to make these groundbreaking realizations. She's supported your enlightenment more than I have, more than anybody on the internet. Tenfold. You put a blind man in front of the waterfall, all he does is hear the waterfall. But he cannot see it. He can imagine what it is, maybe. This sensory that we have, this sensory environment that we have, it's very, very special, and few of us even realize. Most of us are just blind men staring at waterfalls. And then we want to get mad at everyone else for the fact that we can't see it. And then when we finally can see, we're looking around at all the other blind men and saying, hey, can you see the waterfall? And they say, no, I can't. And you say, why the fuck can't you see it? Wake up. You see what I'm doing right now, family? I know this is uncomfortable, but we need to get uncomfortable. When you awaken to truth and the ones around you haven't caught up, it's like you screaming at the flowers, telling them to grow. So just think about this stuff for a little. Somebody said, how would crypto save the world? There's no world to save. There's nothing to save here. If you believe there's something to be saved, that means that something needs a savior. And then where do we go next? We're back in that trap of slave master slave. There is no shackles. There is no chains. I'm reading the chat right now, and Miriam Love said, I feel alive, and the comment right under that from Third Eye Wizard said, I feel gay. You guys you guys are funny as shit. Somebody asked about the definition of apocalypse. Well, apocalypse just means uncovering, unfolding, revealing. That's all it really means. The apocalypse is the enlightenment. It is the so-called awakening. Apocalypse just means the revealing. So if this is the apocalypse, it's the greatest version of the apocalypse ever. It's the best. We could complain and bitch about it all day, but it's like, it's pretty dope, actually. Like, you take a moment to just get out of the fear, get out of the demotivation and all this uninspiring shit that everyone is focused on. See, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go to like this low energy talk, but really, like, I think we need to spend a little bit more time investing our prana into stuff that is inspiring. But it's so easy to just caught up in the endless scrolling of uninspiring nonsense, which is spending time, not investing time. All right, family, I have to wrap this up soon. Got about maybe 5 to 10 more minutes. We can wrap this up talking with a couple. One moment. Oh, I got Decode Your Reality said, Jordan, I spoke with Brashears last night and he asked about us three getting together again for a round 2 podcast. There you go. You guys heard it. Post-apocalypse roundtable between Logan Decode Your Reality, Archaics, Jason Brashears, and WatersAbove, aka Tinfoil Durag, aka Waterboarding with WatersAbove. Let's go. I'm excited. When are we going to make it happen? We should definitely do it before the next solar eclipse. I think that'd be good timing. And anyone who hasn't listened to that last chat that we all three of us did together, you could either find it on my channel or Logan's or Archaics's, whomever. Go check it out. I believe it's called Decoding the Waters Above Archaics. We like took all three of our channel names and combined it into one. That was Jason's idea. So yeah, go check that out. It was a dope conversation. It's one of the best conversations I've had in a very, very long time. Somebody said, what is belief and knowledge? Knowledge is information, it's data, and belief is when you let that data control you. Belief is when you let that data that you've acquired dictate your feeling state. That is what belief is. JP says, Waters, who are the ascended masters? Are they the opposite of demons? So first of all, just got to clear up this word. Demon is not negative. It's not demonic. It's not low frequency. It's none of that. A demon is just a tasker. It's a task master. The task that runs in the background. We're in a simulation. We're in a simulacrum. We are in a computer. The apex predator flexes on us quite often by giving us straight definitions of what these words mean, of course based back in Greek or Latin, and it reveals what these words are and how we could utilize them and how they are operating in this operating system called reality. So demon is not negative. When we think of this idea of ascended mastery, it is one who is able to be a student of the dark, literally. Because without being a student of the darkness and a student of the pain, you'll never know what life is. You'll never know what love is. Those who've experienced loss and who've embraced it are the ones that have the biggest breakthroughs. You know, the volcano needs to erupt sometime. Well, all of us are active volcanoes. We all need to go through an intense buildup of energy that we as individuals here do not actually know how to deal with, but by going through that experience of the buildup and release of that energy, we are born again. That's where that terminology actually comes from. Because once you go through your enlightenment, once you go through your awakening, then you are a new you. You can never go back. And I'm not talking about religion right now. I'm talking about esoterica. Again, the apocalypse is your individual awakening process. It is when your volcano erupts, and now it has a brand new landscape after it cools over and hardens, and now you have to deal with that new you. You have to work with that new energy, and you have to work with the energy of everyone else. Because the awakening process actually makes you more sensitive. It makes you more sensitive to everything. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive, but again, you need to know how to work with that energy. It could be fucking overwhelming to be enlightened, especially at the beginning. It's like being a newborn baby. You see a newborn baby's like crying all the time, and it's just like they look miserable. Babies are crying every second of it. Because imagine you were inside of that warm, environment where everything was nice, and then you get born into this matrix, and like you have this bright fucking artificial light just blasting into your, retinas, and you're like, ugh, you would hate it too. It's fucked up. It was nice in there in mother's womb. Now I'm out here. What the fuck is this place? Well, that's like when you wake up. You're like, fuck is this place? The light, the artificial light, well, get out. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So going through the darkness or any of these ideas are necessities to access this idea of mastery. You can't be a master if you only work with one polarity. So, yeah, when we ask these questions, when we're thinking about this stuff, I want you to go inward and remind yourself of duality. That'll help you with developing your own answers to these sorts of questions, because you're going to see that there's a trap. There's always a trap. And there's always a trap door. Again, remind yourself of Houdini. Stranger Things, you shared your truth on Trinity is a biblical word, Oracle is the vision, Matrix is the eye, and Morpheus is courage. So I don't want to seem like I'm attacking you, but I disagree with everything you said. So matrix comes from matrice, which means womb. It's not the eye. And Morpheus is the god of dreams. You could just research that. You could research mythology and you could see who Morpheus is. Morpheus is not the guy who wakes you up. Morpheus is the guy who puts you to sleep. Everything is opposite. Morpheus did not wake Neo up. Morpheus just gave Neo an opportunity to be unplugged, unjacked from this version we call reality and get a glimpse of what's really going on. But isn't it funny how when he goes to that new world, he's just getting jacked back in again? It's pretty interesting. This ties back to the central nervous system. So, yeah. Of course, Oracle, ocular. Yes, this has to do with vision. This has to do with seeing. But look at the word Oracle. It ends in L. Who is L? L. Again, go back to mythology, and you'll see what's happening here. This is time. Oracle is more about the one who's aware of time and the master of time. But I guess I didn't intend to say that I disagree. It's just moreover different perspective. It's probably what I should have shared. Again, not an attack or anything. I just think this Morpheus's courage statement is that's definitely that could go south. No, Neo, you said Neo is confrontation. No, Neo is neophyte. He's a noob. Neo is confusion. Neo is confusion. Neo's going around asking everyone what the fucking truth is. He has no confidence. So who is confusion in the mythology? Seth. Neo is confusion. Neo is the thing that fucks it all up because the architect is just using everyone in this simulation, and then the machine world is operating the way that it does, inevitably. The human world is operating the way that it does, inevitably. And then this glitch in the Matrix, Neo, he starts out as a neophyte, and then he makes his way onto becoming the one once he gains confidence. But Neo is confusion. And the thing about being confused is once you now know, when you have done the alchemical process of going from being confused to knowing, then you start to fuck shit up. That's what Neo is. Neo is Seth. He's confusion. He is chaos. Neo is chaos. Neo is the thing that destroys the whole show. Now, I'm not judging this. This isn't bad or good. I'm just letting you know what it is, purely. Neo is chaos. He is confusion. He is Seth. Somebody says, so is faith fake? Nothing is. Everything is. It's not about real or fake. Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. It's just witness. It is whatever you make it. Use it to your advantage. Pablo said, nice, Waters, but I didn't come for counseling today. Nobody asked you to be here. We had this moment last week. It's like showing up at a bank and being like, hey, everyone, look at me. I'm here to take money out of my bank account. What are you guys doing? It's like, why even make the comment? Just, there's an X button. You could watch something else. Have fun. Goku said, faith is based on belief, not knowing. Well, you tell that to somebody who has faith and you see how that goes. That's why faith is so powerful, because it's to them, it's the feeling state of their knowing. It supports what they know. This is why people go to the grave having their belief systems. Unwavering belief, where no matter how much truth they see that completely contradicts what they have faith in, they will never let that go. They will never give another perspective a shot. But who's to say that my version of knowing should be somebody else's? That's not what we're doing here. Again, let them do them. But it's real. Like, a lot of people have a belief system that we know is so real because look at the way the world works. We know that taxes are a scam, yet we all play a game. We're all here paying taxes. We all know that passports are a scam, yet I want to see you try to get on a fucking plane and go to Europe without your passport. Good luck. So at the end of the day, you have your belief system that you know that all this paperwork tied back to your name as a corporation is a scam and it's bullshit and you don't believe in it and you wouldn't want to perpetuate it on your people, but yet you still need to do it. Interesting, right? It's not about having faith. It's just it is. And we deal with it accordingly. Like, we'll see how far your belief systems get you in the real world. Tanner the Great, yes. Something like that. All right, family. We have to wrap this one up. I'm just going to see any final... RJ, I appreciate your super chat. It says message retracted, so it looks like you deleted it. I'll try to see if you wrote a comment. But anyways, I really appreciate your support. Anna Anushka, I appreciate you. He said, much love to you, Jordan. Thank you for everything. You helped me remember these last 9 months. Can you please read the Saint Pablo by Kanye? Really quickly, yeah. Like the lyrics? I'm sure there's some interesting stuff in here, but it's a very like I'm just looking through it really quickly. That's a hard bar though. He said, never listen to Hollywood producers. Don't stare at money too long. It's Medusa. We've talked a lot about what Medusa is. Medusa is just fear. When you're in fear, you put this illusory gas pedal. Wait 1 second. Let me look. Yeah, I talk about fear from that perspective is like your frequency can never stop. It's always going. Everything is moving. Everything is vibrating. The coffee mug with your coffee in it is moving. It's just moving slowly. It's more condensed matter, but it's still light. At the quantum level, it's still light. It's still frequency. Fear is what slows down that movement. It's the mind's way of applying the brake pedal. Excuse me. But yeah, that's a hard bar. Especially because when you go into the mythology, when you start to really decode it, Medusa is Hermes. It's Mercury, which comes back to Apollyon the destroyer, Apollyon the disruptor. And Mercury, Hermes, is tied directly to fiat money. Not gold, not silver, not gems, but literal fiat money. It's a fire bar. And he said the ultimate Gemini has survived. I wasn't supposed to make it past 25. So another line from one of his other tracks. And he likes to talk about being a Gemini, even though he's a sidereal Taurus. I'm just trying to see what else we got going on in here, because this is a very, like, just basic... So black and black lies is worse than black and black crime. The Jews share their truth on how to make a dime. Mamma mia. He said most black men couldn't balance a checkbook but buy a new car, talking about how they neck look. This guy, dude. Oh my God. This is one of my favorite lines. I literally just brought this up yesterday. I don't know if Ian's hanging out with us right now, but I just brought this line up yesterday. He said, well, it all looks great. 400 years later, we buying our own chains. Whew. Bar. Okay, this song's getting deep now. He said, the light is before us brothers, so the devil working hard, real families stick together and see through the mirage. The smoke screens, perceptions of false reality. Who the real owner if your boss gets a salary? What? I've been woken from enlightened man's dream, checking Instagram comments to crowdsource my self-esteem. This guy's really laying it all down here, you know? This is very vulnerable shit. Let me not say too much or do too much, because if I'm way up too much, I'm out of touch. I'm praying an out-of-body experience will happen so people can see my light. Now I'm not just rapping. God, I've humbled myself before. Okay. Drop my ego and my confidence was... Okay, so this is very vulnerable, like kind of like a therapy session. It's a beautiful song. This chorus by Sampha is really beautiful. Like, it's a good vibe. Okay. Please face me when I speak. Please say to me something before you leave. You've been treating me like I'm invisible. Now I'm visible to you. Oh, the invisible truth. Stay sober. I can't quite understand the... Okay, so more of this kind of... Okay. Yeah, I mean, cool song. I don't really know. I haven't listened to this track in a while, but I did literally just bring up this... where is it? This part right here. The 400 years later, we're buying our own chains. I brought that up yesterday. Literally. Crazy. People are asking about these live streams and the playback. So anyone who's a YouTube member or a Mastermind community supporter over on Patreon, it's patreon.com/WatersAbove. If you become a Mastermind community member, you actually get access to all 100 live streams that I've done in the past. I believe we're at like 101 now. So this is hundreds of hours, 2 to 3 hours per live stream most of the time. And if you guys are enjoying these, that's where you can get access to the entire live stream archive. And it's included with that membership, alongside access to my weekly Red Pill podcast and our Discord community. So I'm going to be wrapping this up here because final thoughts, I will be doing the new Red Pill podcast tomorrow. And we'll be working on a new decode called the Great American Eclipse Decoded. It'll be a follow-up to the last one I pulled out called Yellow Bricks Road Decoded, I believe. We're not going to be talking about bricks at all, but we will be talking about some thoughts into how the rest of this year can go and how to get prepared for 2024. And really excited to get into that. I'm going to be dropping many gems as usual. I appreciate everyone hanging out with us today, breaking records again. Got 1,000 people in this live chat several times, and we're keeping it as spicy as ever. And I'll be catching you guys tomorrow. So wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.